I thought this was interesting. It's kind of a bigger discussion, but Amazon employees expressed dismay, anger about sudden return to office policy. So Amazon basically said, "Hey, less than 3 weeks, you got to be back in the office. At least I think it's like 3 days a week." Um, and so like these Amazon members, apparently there's 16,000 members who have joined this like online Slack group where they're like,
Right.
yeah, we don't want to do this. We don't want to go back to the office. And like 5,000 have signed a petition to like not return. And I just want to actually know your thoughts. I know you have surprisingly a very strong stance of like going to work and like just taking it.
Dude, seriously, yeah, just I don't know.
Well,
Everybody's done it for, like, how many centuries and whatever. And granted, I don't know if I really would ever be able to do an at-home job because my ADHD would just have me doing, like, millions of other things.
I, I
But,
do it
like,
just fine.
yeah. Yeah, exactly, like, I know people can do it, though, so it's like, I just I don't
So
know. I
there's
want
multiple
them
parts
to.
to it for me. Like on one hand, I can understand the corporation wanting their employees back because a they're paying for the building, right? Like you know,
Right.
I'm not gonna have an empty building that I'm paying for, so like they're gonna lose money there. Two, there are one of the benefits of being in a workplace is socialization. Like
Right.
you kind of like I feel it sometimes where I feel isolated because I'm like I literally interact with no one physically on it like on a day-to-day basis. Like it's like yeah, I talk to my coworkers like sometimes in meetings and stuff, but it is fun to sometimes goof around with your coworkers.
Oh,
Like
absolutely. That's what I
socializing.
do for 90% of the day at work. Like, I don't
Yeah,
actually get work done
tomorrow
ever.
comes like yeah, we watched the newest episode. You guys follow us? Yeah,
Yeah.
we do. We love the podcast,
Yeah.
but you're fired.
Oh, thanks, man.
But you're fired.
And now you can do it full time.
Yeah, you're fine.
Congratulations.
No, and what I don't think these people understand again, and I'll say the other side of the argument too, is that like I don't see how you'll ever be like considered for a promotion if they can't physically like evaluate you.
Right.
If I'm working from home, which I do, and granted, mine's a little different because it's like there's a lot of visual. There's like you have to have a webcam because you have to have meetings with other coworkers and stuff like that. So like they can interact with me in a certain way. But if you go to like in your place of work, you're physically there. You physically see the managers and the upper management, and they can see you work or like interact with you. Versus if you're working from home on like a chat support job for like Amazon, right? Like how
Right.
are they going to evaluate you for like a raise or a promotion by just like seeing reviews and like I don't know times you clocked in? Like there's just a physical component to it, right? Or do you think it's am I like over exaggerating?
Oh no, there definitely is. Like that's, half of it. Cause like if you have questions and whatever, it's nicer to just like walk to someone's desk
Right.
and like, I don't know, do it that way than I don't know, like have to email someone or message them on Microsoft Teams and maybe they'll get back to you. I don't know. It's just like I just like yeah, I like the human interaction and stuff throughout the day too.
Well, yeah,
So
it's super healthy. Yeah, for me, yeah, like I don't get that human reaction, but on the same token, I love my job. Like for once, I'm actually happy working, which is like my mind is blown in that part. But it just it does suck because I kind of think back when like I worked at like a retail store, and yeah, like I didn't like working with like the customers, obviously part of the job, but like I got to hang out with my coworkers, like I was more physically active, which is part of why I gained weight because I
right,
don't move around and my legs are hurting because I'm stationary for like the whole day. Um,
right,
and so like there's an important component to it. However, on the other hand, I do believe there are some jobs that are like there's literally no need to be in an office. At least like going forward. Like chat support jobs let's roll it back for a second. Let's just say well, all right, let's say the virus happened but you're just starting a business. If I'm going to do a chat support business, for example, I'm not going to have a business space. I'd be like, okay, it's all through computer. I literally have no need to like have an office space for people to be working here. I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Like
right,
some
right.
some jobs literally don't have to require. We it can be outgrown in some aspects. Um there's the comfort of not having to I- if you're purely working from home, like, there's a possibility you don't even need like depending on your situation, like if you have a family, you don't need a car to go to work. You just work from home, so you're saving on gas, which I've noticed. Like I literally only spend like, I mean, granted, gas prices are still insane. I fill my car up like once a month now. It's great. Like
Right.
that part's awesome. Like I don't put mileage on my car. Like although believe it or not, there's like I always have to go through a conversation with my insurance policy because they're like, you can't put 0 miles for work. I'm like, but I can because I work from home.
Right.
Like they're like, oh, we'll put one. I'm like, yeah, but that's not true because I don't drive for work.
Right.
Like that's not fair. Like you can't, like, and
There's a
that
lot of companies, yeah, that's like a big thing. Like you can't put 0 miles, so they'll have you like drive to the office like, I don't know, once a month or something
right. And
to
it's
get like the 10 miles in or something, however close you are.
yeah, and it's like so, but the amount of money you save like on gas is amazing. I love that part. Um, but I guess I see it from both sides. I think it really depends on the job, and I don't know if I was a company that had office space, I'd just sell it and be like I just work from home personally.
Right.
But again, there's like the
You're saving
socialization part.
so much money on all that like overhead and stuff. You might as
Right.
well.
But I also believe that Amazon is, and again, I know they're never going to sponsor us. So I'm going to say this: basically, a legal sweatshop. Working for them is apparently miserable. I'm not sure if we talked about it, but I remember like a year ago they have like 150% like turnover rate or something. It's like they're
Oh, people like
yeah.
start and quit within the same day. Yeah.
Right, yeah, like they're like the issue is like they're running out of people in the state to work. Like they're literally going through everybody in the state. I forget what state it was, but
That's
I thought it was funny.
insane.
Um yeah, so this article actually has a, you kind of mentioned earlier. One worker said they'd recently released a car with an annual limit of 16,000 miles, assuming remote work was still an option. If they're required to come to the office at least 3 days a week, they'll exceed that limit. So like so some workers they changed their living arrangements because they went to remote work and they had no idea when they're going to come back.
Right.
Like some people like they moved because they're like, oh, I'm working from home. It doesn't matter where I live, which I understand to a degree, but co- uh, at the same time, companies probably should have said we will be going back to the office at some point. We just don't know. Well, I don't know. It's like
But they did, but that
yeah,
was
that's what I'm
like
saying. Yeah, yeah, that's what
3
I'm,
years ago. So
right, right. It's
like
been so long. It's
how
past
can
like
you blame them?
yeah,
Yeah.
past a reasonable time frame. Um, yeah, others took the company's previous flexible work stance as an opportunity to move outside major cities to find more affordable housing. They're now concerned about their commute. Because apparently now some places are like, yeah, we want you back in the office 2 days a week, and they're like, yeah, well, I moved across the country. It's like, yeah, but you got to be here 2 days a week. Like, well,
Right.
I can't because I moved.
Right. I
Um,
moved. I don't live here anymore.
apparently, in this situation, staffers put as their Slack status. I mean, wait, have you ever used Slack?
That sounds familiar. What is that?
It's like a basically a workplace chat program. It's just
Oh,
meant,
okay.
it's
Like
like
Teams. Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
It's a way better. Team sucks, but
Oh my god, tell me about it.
Slack is alright, so like Slack is the curse. Slack? I'm sorry. Discord is the curse. If you remember curse,
Yeah, I
where
do.
Slack is to Teams. That's how big of a difference
Oh,
it is.
okay.
Yeah. They put their these people are putting as their status remote advocacy as their Slack status in order to show their support for the petition to like not return. Like, I, again, I see it from both sides. I think Amazon's so huge that it probably if your position can be work from home. I don't know. Like you've probably gotten used to it if you work there for years, you know.
Right.
But
Yeah, I
people
mean,
like
I don't know. If it's working though, like why would they like force them to come back at this point, right?
again, my assumption is that because they're paying for the building, they want to use the building. That's like the only
Just sell it. Who
right, right.
cares? Just sell it.
That's like my only like idea about it. But maybe like for legal reason, they had to have like a quote unquote headquarters, like an address that is claimed to be the business, you know?
Right.
But I mean, if that was the case, I'd just say my address is a closet. Like, like this is the
Yeah.
headquarters. Um, let's see. Yeah, they have to be back at least 3 days a week beginning May 1st. But the petition urges Jassy and Amazon's leadership team, known as the S team, to drop the mandate just days after it was announced. But like 3 days a week isn't unreasonable though.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like look, I understand. Like for me, I honestly can't see myself ever physically going back to work. It just really pissed me off. Or in terms of like a physical location. But that's just me, and maybe I'm
Right.
just being picky. But like 3 days on, 2 days off, I would take a job like that where it's like,
Oh,
okay,
absolutely.
it's like you get half and half. Half you go to get to socialize, get those 3 days in, crush on a coworker. 2 days, you're home.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. Could you handle like if there's a way to work from home, would you accept like a 3 days on, 2 days off?
Yeah, I think like a split like that, I think I could do. But to like be completely home, I don't know. I feel like I would get nothing done and just go like stir crazy. But then again, I mean, we could just like sit on Discord all day and like just chit chat
Please, please. Yeah,
and
it's fun. Yeah, it's great, dude. I mean, that's what I love when you're randomly from home. It's great. Like I get
right.
work done, talk to my bros, crack open some brewskis, watch some anime, and they're like, "Derek, you missed 3 meetings," and I'm like, "Well, I'm watching Demon Slayer. What do you want me
Well, I'm
to do?"
watching High School DxD, so you can't be mad at me.
Like I don't pay for gas anymore, so now I have a Crunchyroll subscription, and like I got to use it. But so there's a quote here that one of the people put out: by arbitrarily forcing return to office without providing data to support it, and despite clear evidence that it is the wrong decision for employees, Amazon has failed its role as Earth's best employer. Did anyone ever proclaim it's the Earth's best employer?
No, 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 no.
By Satan Weekly and Sweatshop
You know what?
Monthly.
I'll say this: it's its best employer because it's employed literally like
Everyone,
80%
right?
of America at this point. Yeah,
Which I mean, like, as terrible as it is for people that like don't have a great, what's the word, like, a great
standards.
resume. Oh well, like like people like you don't have a lot of work experience or lack thereof, whatever you want to take it. That's good for them, even if the work, the working
Right.
conditions are terrible. Like I'd
And
rather.
honestly, if you can deal with the work, they do pay like very well for like a starting job.
Yeah, I
So
remember when I was looking at like chat support, it was like 20 an hour. And I mean that was
yeah,
during the pandemic, so it's like work from home with 20 an hour. That sounds sweet. Um, yeah, so like I don't know which way I would lean towards in terms of the situation because I can understand it from both sides. Like Amazon technically doesn't need, mm, excuse me, a reason to say hey come back to like the office, but
right.
it's like the employee. I assume you get accustomed to working from home 5 days a week.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. Like
And you know what? People had like, we didn't mention it before, but like people had like kids and stuff too during the pandemic because they were
right.
bored at home.
Like look at Jimmy
You know,
Jr. here.
yeah, they like physically can't go back to work now. They like, I don't know.
Well, yeah, but you're like,
I want to
well,
say like screwed themselves, but like they've
most
locked
jobs.
themselves into this lifestyle.
Well, most jobs that I know of, they're like, yeah, but you can't like if we you're supposed to be working. So if we see you have like, you taking care of your kids, then we're just gonna fire you because you're not like committed to work.
Right.
And it's like and then because there's people. I mean, I'm not gonna say any names, but like I know people where it's like they have to take off work because their kid's sick, and but they're working from home, but they have like meetings and stuff. Like, yeah, well, you're not gonna let me. Like, I can easily work and take care of my sick child, but you won't allow that, so I'm just gonna take
Right.
care of the kid. It's like they still have the chance to be flexible. I forget where I was going with that, but the point is that I totally forget why I
I
mentioned
forgot why we started that.
yeah.
Yeah. To be
I
honest,
yeah.
I said something and then I kind of just like
Oh no, actually no. Thank you.
my
You're
brain
you're
shut off.
you reminded me. That
My
like
Alzheimer's. Yeah,
you're
there we
able
go.
to like do things while you're working from home, like to, like
Oh, right, right, right.
watch your children. Because like realistically, if you're working from home and your kid needs to like it, like, and there's been times where again, person I know where like school's out, so and they don't want to get a sitter, like, but they're like at an age where like it's not they can watch themselves home alone, but if you're in the house, like the supervision is there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So like in those situations, like yeah, but if you're working, if your remote job is now, hey, you got to come in, that does screw you over. Like even
Oh,
for
absolutely.
like
Yeah.
look, I'm not saying it's unreasonable for Amazon to say, hey, come back 3 days a week, but for those 2 days and those people in those situations, they're like, okay, now I got to get like or for those 3 days, I have to get like a babysitter or something because I can't, I'm not going to be home. So like, there's a give and take. Um, so I just think it's a very interesting conversation. Personally, I think we're kind of hitting a point where we're realizing, oh, I don't need that. We don't need to have like a physical business. We can just do everything from home. Like I know in New York where they're like charging like $50,000 for like a building, a month in rent. They're like, okay, well, all the business is online, so I'm shutting it down. Like I'm not. In fact, I'm not sure how long ago it was. I was reading that like during COVID, this business owner like I'm not sure if the state sued them, but they're like they weren't using it for business because of COVID, but they were sleeping in the building, and they're like,
Right.
"Oh, you can't do that." It's like, why not? I own it. It's like because it's meant for you because it's a business building. It's like right, but I own it. Like
Right. I can
what's
use it for whatever I want.
right? But apparently you couldn't. So like they're completely locked out, but still forced to pay like 50,000 a month because New York is amazing. Um, I guess what I'm trying to say here is that this episode is sponsored by Amazon. Amazon, go
Right.
work for us.
Amazon. Sell your soul.
Sell your soul. Yeah. So again, don't I personally don't lean either way. I guess I hope for the best for them, but I guess if you're forced in that kind of situation, I guess just try and find other employment. As hard as that would be.
Yeah, I mean, don't work for a job that you don't like, no matter what the um,
Can you, of
you
all
know,
people, say that?
pay
Not
is.
currently, but
I
not
just,
current situation. Take it.
I do like my job now.
No, no, no.
The
I
pay
meant a
could
past
definitely be
job.
better. Oh, past job, absolutely. Yeah, I was there for too long. I shouldn't be there. Just
Right. I
work
felt
just
like
to
when
go
it was
to or
when it was a certain someone's funeral and they're like, no, you gotta stay it for a midnight release. That would have been like
right.
the
What do you mean? Hold on. I
oh,
thought you guys were cool.
you guys are cool. No, they're pretty evil.